Hello, my friends! Tony here, and welcome back to TTBurger Game Reviews. And yep, we are back with another video here. We're on episode 158. We're getting closer to that 200th episode, which I have something special planned for that, so be on the lookout for that when the time comes. But today, we're on episode 158, and we have another multi-part review here. This is episode 158, part 1 of 3. Yep, it's the 3-part review. It's been a while since I've done a 3-part review here, but today is the day. And today, we're gonna take a trip to the land of Persia, with desert and sand and daggers of time and sand and more sand and thrones and everything and more. You're probably wondering what we're talking about here. Well, for today, as we make our trip to Persia, we're going to be looking at some games in the Prince of Persia franchise. Now those of you who grew up with the NES and Super Nintendo stuff have played the original Prince of Persia games. They were side-scroller action games at its finest, and there was also one on the Super Nintendo. And there was one called Prince of Persia 3D, which I heard was not well received. So Prince of Persia took a long break until the year 2003, when they decided to reboot the franchise for modern gamers for its time. Now, I know I have my opinions on, I'm not a big fan of reboots here and stuff, but when the reboot is done right, I'm okay with it, and that's what we got here. For this episode, we'll be looking at 3 Prince of Persia games, at least for the 5th generation of 6th generation gaming, I meant to say. And you take a look at 3 of them here. Part 1, we're going to look at Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. Part 2, Prince of Persia, Warrior Within, and then finally for part 3, Prince of Persia, The Two Thrones. Got lots to talk about here. Let's get started with Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. It's for the PlayStation 2, Nintendo GameCube, and Microsoft's Xbox. This is the only version I have, so look at the PlayStation 2 version. Now, when I first learned about Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, I mean, I knew nothing about the series. I didn't even know that it was on the Nintendo and stuff like that, so it was all fairly new to me, and I was wondering, what could they do here? Because there have been a lot of games that takes place in those ancient times with daggers and sand and all that stuff. So a part of me was wondering what would they do to make this different from other stuff. Well, what we get here is a 3D action platform game with some puzzles in it and stuff. What we get here is a great game. For the first Prince of Persia game released on the PlayStation 2, it does have some problems though that I have to talk about that could have been ironed out, and you know that improvements were to come. So that's what it is there. But we got a lot to talk about here, so we got to get started. The story of Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time takes place during the 9th century AD and begins with our main character called the Prince narrating the story through unseen people and stuff. And it talks about how the Prince and his father are passing through India to visit the Sultan of Azad, where they're trying to find the Sands of Time and whatever stuff where they're stored to restore peace. But all hell breaks loose and stuff, and Prince finds the Dagger of Time, where it can rewind time and everything like that in case he messes up and stuff. And he's trying to avenge his father and undo the damage he caused with the Sands of Time when he opened it. And that's basically what the story is there. There's not really much story there, and it's basically there to move the game along and stuff. But for the most part, yeah, the story is it's not the deepest story ever, and that's basically what it is. The story is mainly narrated through the Prince. It's told through in-game cutscenes and pre-rendered cutscenes itself, which look really good. And one thing I do like about the story is that since the Prince is narrating his story, when you die, it'll go, no, that's not how it happened. I'll continue the story from here and stuff. And that's pretty funny that okay, you know that when you die, it's not going to be taken seriously in the game because he's narrating, he's still alive, so of course that's what's going to happen. So, no, that's not how it happened. That's basically what it is there. But we got lots more to talk about here. For the game's presentation, the game's graphics do look good, but while they could have more work could have been done on them and stuff. The pre-rendered cutscenes look great and they animate really well. But the in-game graphics haven't really aged all that well. They don't look as good, and they didn't look as good as back then, but they look even worse now. They haven't aged all that well through time and stuff. But yeah, like the graphics could have been a little bit better. The character models do look good, and they animate well, but they have no facial animations whatsoever at all, and the lip syncing is not very great either in the characters. So that's just me though. The backgrounds do look nice. I mean, like they have that like ancient time feel to them and stuff, like desert setting and stuff. But some of the backgrounds look a little generic, like you got like these generic looking thrones and like rooms and stuff, which these look a little bland, and more effort could have been done with them, is what I'm trying to say there. So that's what it is. But like, for the most part, the game is good. I mean, the frame rate is smooth throughout the game. I don't really notice any frame rate issues at all or so. But it's like decent looking game is what I can say. For the sound I gotta say, like, is probably the best part of Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. The voice setting is really good, especially the Prince, who when he's narrating and talking like throughout the cutscenes, so he does a great job at getting the point across, and he sounds like he's a narrator for a movie and stuff. And yeah, like, cause hell, I never saw the Prince of Persia movie. I heard it sucked, but imagine if he was a narrator or played as Prince himself. Yeah, that would actually be pretty interesting there. But I never saw the movie, so I can't really say anything there. But like, the music is great. Like, you got these like ancient like music or so, but you also got like rock tunes when you're fighting the enemies or so, and that's pretty badass there. So sound definitely delivers for the game, definitely. Now we gotta get into the gameplay here, and the gameplay for Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, it's fun, but it does have some quirks that should have been ironed out. For starters here, like I said, you play as Prince roaming through Persia and stuff, and you basically get from point A to point B by running on walls, jumping cliffs, and like jumping platforms, and walking on walls and stuff like that to try to avoid obstacles, and using your sand to like undo mistakes you made or so, or slowing down time with the dagger of time and stuff. And that's basically what you're doing there. Prince has these cool abilities. Like, he controls like a ninja times two, when he can wall jump, run on walls, and do flips and all that stuff. And it basically is one of those type of games there. You spend time doing puzzles and trying to kill enemies with your dagger and stuff, and it basically has a feel of like Devil May Cry and Ninja Gaiden and stuff as well, which Devil May Cry came first. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's got those elements of hack and slash at the same time as well. The puzzles you solve do challenge you, and you'll have to think on your feet on what to do next. Like, the puzzles are very challenging, and some of the obstacles on how to get to another platform and how you're going to solve what to do definitely test your might and your knowledge and everything on what to do. But be careful though. One of the main complaints I have about this game is that you can die a lot in this game from missed jumps or stuff like that, and this is one of the frustrating factors there, because like, if you don't like dying in games like that, this game is not for you or whatever. So just be warned there. It takes patience. This is not one of these games you rush through. It takes patience and stuff like that. But just be warned. If you don't like dying in games, you're not gonna like this game. But still, those people who like challenges like that and don't mind the cheap deaths at times, and yeah, you're gonna be fine with it, definitely. The game is not very long. You can pretty much blow through it about like 5 hours or so, and then after that you can go back to it if you want to. But the game is pretty short, but it challenges your mind a lot on what to do, because like, it's one of those games you need to think on your feet on what to do, because the obstacles are going to be there, like saws running up and down, and spike traps and stuff, and of course like trying to jump the platform and stuff, definitely. And like, for save points, you got these little sand things where you view like events or so that show you like what to do, like you view your visions or so, and you save the game. And you have water that you can drink to kill your health. And like, when you rewind time with the dagger of time, you need sand to rewind time. And this is actually a cool feature that's never been done in the game before, to rewind the game so you can try again. It's like having an extra life. But if you run out of sand, it's game over. It's game over unless you retry the checkpoint or the save point. So just saying there. The checkpoint points are very scarce and stuff like that, so be sure you save, because like, there's not that many checkpoints, so I'm just saying there. But for the most part though, yeah, the game the game is fun, just that it can be challenging. The difficulty is all over the place as well. It's like the difficulty can be all over the place. Like some of the enemies are very overpowered, and like the targeting system is not that good. Like it doesn't, like the targeting system just targets a random opponent, even though it's not the one you wanted to attack. So a lot of these problems could have been worked on there, and also the fact that like this PlayStation 2 itself has the audio does not sound very good. It sounds a little muffled at times too. So just saying there. So a lot of these quirks could have been worked on, but still, like it's still a good game. Just be warned though, it's not for the first one. You knew problems were going to be fixed definitely. So aside from that though, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time is still a good game. Depending on which version you get, you'll be in for a treat. Just be warned though that like the PlayStation 2 version, the GameCube version have some low audio problems like that, and there's problems like with the game in general. But still, the game should not be overlooked at all. Due to the complaints I have, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time is going to get an 8 out of 10 because the problems could have been fixed, but that's just me though. So still a good game. If you want to play like a hack and slash action game with puzzle elements in it, then definitely pick this up. It's worth owning. That's it for episode 158, part 1 of 3. Stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to go to the year 2004, where we're going to take a look at the sequel, The Prince of Persia: Warrior Within. One of the first M-rated Prince of Persia game, and which sets a darker tone to it. And how does it fare between Sands of Time? Find out next, which all I gotta say, you like what you see here, subscribe, like the video, comment down below, and join my Discord group, TTBurger Games Night. I'm always looking for more people to join. Like I said many times before, the link is in the description below, so go ahead and just click on the link and join. You're welcome to join, anyone's welcome to join. Which all I gotta say is Tony, peace out, have a great day. We'll continue our trip to Persia in episode 158, part 2 of 3.